Hi, it's Helen Tarrant. So I want to do a live comparison for you, so you get to see the property and you get to see what's going on if I compare a residential with a commercial property. Now, I'm just looking at some properties at the moment, so I just want to share this with you. So without much ado, let's go and have a look at a residential property. We're looking at a property in Melbourne at the moment for about 700,000, and I'll show you also a property in a commercial property around 700,000, and we'll do a bit of a comparison on a spreadsheet. So here, let me just bring this up. So if you can see my screen, here we can see this is a property in Bundoora. Now, Bundoora is a university town. It's also about 19-20 k's out of Melbourne CBD, and it is an area that is undergoing gentrification, and there's a lot of things changing in that area. So this is a house, 581 square meters in a block, so it's pretty good. Bedroom, one bathroom, which pass. It's after 680,000. Let's have a look at the way that it's set up. We've got the bedrooms, and we've got the lounge and the kitchen, and the random car park. So we've got that. It's inside it's relatively new. It's got the location of it, where it is, and inside, it looks pretty good. It's not the most spacious house, but it seems quite cozy, quite nice. So a family home or an investment. So let's look at this from an investment point of view. So there's bits and pieces to this property, but let's just scroll down and have a look at some of the information regarding this property. So we obviously know there's some build-ins, there's some general cooktops, lounge rooms, etc., etc. But let's have a look at the age of the building. It's about 45 years old. The council rate's about $1,500 per year. It's obviously 10% sale. Its rental price is $410 per week, and it's near schools and everything else. So that gives us some information. Obviously, there is the smaller term, and there is no body corporate fees involved in this as well. So I want to show you a commercial property in this area, so you can have a look. So this is a commercial property. This is Enterprise Drive in Bundoora. So this is leased to the Commonwealth Government Electoral Commission, a 2-by-2 year lease, and it's a rolling lease. This is a property that was bought in 2019, the last year, and this year the tenant has looked at renewing the lease. So it's 2 years and 5 months. Look, the tenant's been there for 2 years before then. So they're a long-term tenant. They've got 3% annual reviews. The space is a bit small, 135 square meters, but it's got 5 car parks on site. A little bit large in terms of car park as well. So doors to the metropolitan ring. This is right next door to the university town that's been built. So this is the property itself. It's ground floor, glass front, so it can be also used as a retail if it wants to. So for cafes and anything, also an office space. So I just wanted to run you through some of the basics to that. Is that it's got 5 on title, 2 undercover, 3 on the ground. It's got a national tenant or the government tenant in there. Its lease history, it started being in the property since 2012, 2017, then they signed a current lease, so it's rolling. You can see that the tenants have an established history, and up until now they've been there for almost 8 years. Current rentals $48,313 net, and the new rentals are about $350 a square meter. So what you're doing as part of the works before the sale, the lessor is actually recarpeting the tenancy. The annual returns started from 2019, and then there'll be another one this year as well. There's payables by the lessee. This is the most important thing to see, is that it's payable by the lessee. So you as the lessor, so you as the landlord, is not liable for lease charges to the water per annum to $146, which is roughly the same as you would in residential. I think residential is a little bit higher, it's about $500 because you've got to pay for storage. Rates, it's a little bit higher. We looked at the other one, it was about $1,500 a year. It was about $2,500 a year. The owner's corporation, the admin fee is obviously high because you, on top of what you have to pay as the building insurance, this admin fee covers that building insurance, so you might be up for $1,500 in terms of building And this might be, you know, this is 6,800 in terms of management of the building. Maintenance fund. The maintenance fund contributes to the overall future capital works of the property. Contributes to the overall works of the property, so if the roof damage, or if there's any issues in terms of bathrooms, toilets. There's also if you needed to do work on, say, lifts and stuff, that's what it covers. So totally, it's about $10,000 a year. The outgoings is fairly high, but remember the tenant pays for it, so there's actually nothing out of pocket. So we're looking at this from an investment point of view. And the fund at the moment is 447. When I talk about owners corporation funds, they talk about it being that much, meaning that that's how much they have already accumulated. So you're buying into a fund that's already got that accumulated. If there was major capital works, it already would cover it. So there's not going to be any special levies, which one of the things about strata is about special levies. But the main thing is we're going to look at the comparison. So as I talked about, Bundoora is 17k. So before I was saying it's at 90 to 20, obviously. Depending where you're located in Bundoora, north of Melbourne. One of the first buildings developed in the master plan of University Hill. So because there's a couple of universities around there, they're doing a huge push around that area. And in the years to come, it'll be a huge development area, an ongoing area. So the median house prices around that time is 650,000. The annual growth has been about 7% in the last few years, and the median unit price has been 433,000. So it's well positioned. Of course, showing you where it is, but it's got 29 strata offices in the actual building. They're all professional tenants, and it's got ground floor entrance. Obviously, the ramp is disabled, fully carpeted, partitioned to open plan, so it can be easily versatile for another type of tenant as well. So just show you sort of a few market of what's going on in terms of the vacancies around there, in terms of sales evidence around there, about $429 a square metre. Remember, we're renting ours out at $350 a square metre. So comparably, we're actually much cheaper in terms of rent as well. So there's more just showing you regarding that. And the yield, meaning the return we're getting on the property. We bought this property at 7% yield. So it's a net yield, so it's after all outgoings and before mortgage. So that's showing you what the returns are in that market at the moment. And we can see that they're all about 6 to 6.5%, something sitting a little bit higher than that. So have the disclaimers, obviously. Let's go and have a look at this for you, because it's important to have a look at commercial. I'll just put this up and look at what it is. So the first commercial, the residential one, it was about $680,000 for the asking price. So let's put that down. $680,000. And deposits, normally they're asking for 10%, so that's $68,000. And the loan, let's say 90% loan, but remember there is an LMI component to it, so lender's mortgage insurance if you're doing 90%, but let's do that so that it's a miscellaneous cost. At the 90%, 680,000 is 612,000 for the loan. Interest at the moment is probably sitting somewhere around maybe about 3%, or maybe a little bit higher in terms of investment loans. So I'm just going to put 3.5% here. Outgoing. So you've got some management fees. So management fees usually sitting about 7%. So the rentals on that, let me just insert a one thing in there. Rent per year. So they said $410 per week. So let's times that by 52 weeks. Even though the bank is going to shade that back a little bit because obviously they're going to allow some leasing fees and a few other things. But your outgoings are going to be management fees. So management fees, say 7% on top of plus GST, is going to be about $1,600. So $1,600 for management. Just do that. We know the rates are going to be $1,500 for rates. Water, we're going to put down $500. And the other thing we're going to put down is insurance. So $1,500 for insurance as well. So we're looking at total here. Let's add that up. So we've got, so just working with round figures, 1600 plus 1500 for rates, plus 500 for water, 1500 for insurance. So we're at $5,100. Okay, so now we'll look at the interest, and we should add in here repayments. So looking at, this is not, and this is not just me looking at, there's lender's mortgage insurance, which we're not going to factor in just for this process. And remember, stamp duty is the same whether you're getting a residential property or commercial property. So in Victoria, it's sitting somewhere about 5.4%. So you've got to allow that into your cost. So if you're buying in Victoria, your legals, you need to do your strata searches or your pest and building, you're going to find you're going to allow about a 7% to 8% in terms of the purchase cost on top of what the price is. So let's do 3.5% by 612,000, as in looking at it as a purely investment only. So that's 21,420 on investment only. So I'm going to put IO at the back of it. So what you can see is that we obviously have rent, which is 21,320. We need to take out from the rent the repayments, 21,420. Then we need to take out the 5,100. So this property is actually negative by $5,200 per year. So negative. So that's the so we'll highlight that. You can see that's where it is if you're buying a residential property. Now, looking at growth on both sides, if growth will equal because you're buying residential, you are buying a commercial in an area. And in another video, I'll show you how in metro areas commercial actually grows at the same rate as residential. But here, we look at this property and they're asking $750,000. So let's just put that in. We'll just put that in purely. This is pre-negotiations. That in. We forgot. Let's have a look at what the rental on that was. I think it was about 40 current rentals. New rentals per net, so about 47,250. 47,250. So we need to add in loan, repayments, rents. So let's go down there, have a look at this is repayments and rent. So our rents are 47,250. 47,250. Let's say deposit's a little bit higher. We're going to do a 20% deposit, which is 150,000. So that's 20%. Obviously, that's only for a certain type of loans. Now, commercial loans can go anywhere from 65% LVR, so you need 35% deposit, to anywhere to 80% LVR, so in terms of 20% deposit. So it depends on the type of work you're in. It depends on if you are going to be the person that is going to be servicing the loan, or whether the tenant is going to be servicing the loan. All of these factors take into account, and they give you a specialist package for the type of loan that's going to be available for you as its actual property. So it's property driven rather than purchaser driven. So the loan would be, let's look at about 600,000. The loan is relatively similar to the one we've had at residential. I'm going to put 4% because that's what most of my clients are getting. In fact, some of them are getting lower than that, below 3% in terms of interest at the moment in the market. But 4% on 600,000. So let me just work that out. 4% on 600,000. We're at $24,000. $24,000. Now, outgoings, tenant pays for all, but we know it's about 10K or so. But remember, the tenant pays for all, so that 47,250 is actually your net. So all we need to take out of that is actually your $24,000 of your repayments. So $24,000. If we take that out, you're actually getting a $23,250 positive cash flow per year. So from day one, the moment you settle on this property, you're going to get $23,250 in positive cash flow per year behind this property. Now, if is all the same, you're actually making more out of this property in the commercial property buying the same area as residential. So the other thing that we haven't accounted for, which sometimes we should, is look at the price of the deposit. So this is one of the things I need to ask is what is the cost of your deposit? See, most people think that when they put a deposit in and you're getting a return on their money, that's great. What you don't realize is in residential, when you put 10% in, 20% in, if you don't want to pay every month, is that money is actually dead money. You're actually not getting interest or anything back from that. Whereas in commercial, you can actually be getting that money back. So that let's say you're $150,000 in this case, you are having to draw that down. So it's a draw. Let's say it's a drawdown. Drawdown on equity or from offset, and the offset is a residential offset or it's money in the bank. And let's just say that it is 4%. Then we got to work out what is the value of that, because remember the opportunity cost you're losing on that. So 150,000. Look at that. At 4% is $6,000. $6,000. So if you left that in the bank, it's saving you $6,000 or to be generating $6,000. So your true cash flow position from this property is actually your $23,250 minus your $6,000. So what that is, if you look at it, is $23,250 minus $6,000. It's $17,250. $17,250 positive. Now that is completely positive. That's after you take out all the expenses, including servicing your deposit. Now, if you put that in residential, so versus residential, where you're putting in $68,000, and we're not even accounting now for stamp duty or any of the other things, but all those things are equal, so we're just leaving that. But $68,000 let's just say you only putting that money in the bank, and not even at 4%. Let's say that you're only leaving that money in the bank because it's your first investment purchase, or it's an equity and it's a much smaller at 3% interest. Let's see what that is. So 68,000 times 0.3, $2,040. So $2,040. But then if you add your 5,200 negative, the true position you are in is actually you are negative 7,200. You're negative $7,240 per year. So that roughly works out to $125 a year. A week that you're down. What that means for you is that you have to find $125 out of your own money every week to pay for that. Yes, you will get some tax rebates from that. But the moment something happens to you and you lose your job, it just means that you no longer can support that property. Whereas in a commercial property, the property supports itself. It only puts $17,000 into your pocket every single year. What that equates to is on a monthly basis, roughly about $1,200 a month into your pocket. So on a weekly basis, instead of losing money, you're actually getting $330 coming in. So if you are working an average wage, it could be equivalent to having an extra day off a week. So that's what power buying commercial property is. It's going to be a larger deposit to get in. If you have equity, you're thinking which is a better way to get in, commercial or residential. Maybe this is a better way to consider that if you're buying in the same area, if you get a lower return in your commercial, it's still worthwhile and it will still perform better and give you more cash flow in your pocket. If you need that help on your regarding your commercial property journey, if you want someone to talk to regarding how you should progress in your commercial property and what is the right one to buy in your first commercial property, you can always email Helen at commercialpropertycashflow.com.au or go to helentarrant.com. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, I look forward to showing you more on my next video. We've got some really exciting things coming up, and I look forward to showing you some new and exciting inspections in the future. All right, bye for now.